First one.
Yeah.
You done one of these before?
Oh yeah. Let's.
Hi, I'm Al, head of marketing here at Singular, and I'm joined by Wendy, our head of coffee.
Hi Al.
If you guys haven't checked out this month's issue of Barista Magazine, please do. Wendy's featured in, I think it's like 8 pages or something crazy like that. Her storied career in coffee, it's truly amazing. It's a great read. And we've got no one better than Wendy to talk about a very hot topic right now. Lucky to have Wendy part of our team for the next little bit. We're going to talk about what's going on in the coffee world, and you'll learn that it's very nuanced. Yeah. So a little bit about yourself, Wens, and then let's get into it.
Cool. Thanks. I'm Wendy De Jong, head of coffee at Singolo. I've been here for about 13 or 14 years. And I really love the Australian coffee culture. I think it's great. And I'm excited to talk about these changes that are going to be impacting all of us.
Yeah. So let's talk about those changes. There's been a lot in the news, a lot of it suggesting that potentially these higher coffee prices is a big setback. What's Single O's position on that?
These higher prices are great for coffee. We think that coffee's been undervalued for decades. It has the potential to be a very positive impact.
Yeah, amazing. So let's talk about the impacts. So overall, as a whole coffee market, so let's kind of hone in on the C market as a coffee market as a whole.
Yep.
We're seeing record prices. So the C market's passed through $4 USD per pound. Can you explain to us a little bit about what's going on there and what's driving that?
Yeah, really simply, there have been really low crop yields in two major coffee producing countries, Brazil and Vietnam. Those the impact of those lower yields has driven the opportunity for market speculators to jump in and sort of take a look at just like the fragility of coffee itself as a plant. We know that it's becoming increasingly difficult to predict weather patterns and rainfall and all of these things that used to happen, for better or for worse, like at a pretty normal pace. And all of a sudden, you've got unseasonable rains, you've got droughts, you've got floods, and there's a kind of overlaid on that is the idea of a potential for increased coffee consumption. We know that coffee producing countries are starting to drink more. We know that there are, kind of burgeoning cafe cultures. Everybody is wondering about how much coffee China might start to consume. And you kind of get this perfect storm of real worry about the potential for these sort of sustained and predictable global coffee yields. How much coffee do people want to drink? And we're kind of finding out that people want to drink a lot of coffee, which is a good thing. But you have then the ability for people to go in and try to make money on that in the market,
Yeah.
playing off this supply and demand dynamic.
So climate change events are impacting supply, and then market speculators are jumping in, trying to make a buck off of that at the same time that consumer demand is rising across the world.
That's right. Good way to.
So let's talk about we obviously we're in specialty, so we talk about specialty. So what's the specific impacts that are happening on the specialty coffee market?
Yep. So the way this is impacting specialty for us, the most immediate thing that we're seeing and other specialty players are increased specialty differentials. So the C market really just covers the basic trade of a container of coffee. And that is sort of used as a baseline for all market trade, even in trades that happen outside of that traditional market, whether that's direct trade or fair trade or other things like that. Everybody uses the C market as a benchmark
Yep.
or where they set their pricing. And so a lot of times you have coffee that's sold at a quality differential, and that's an amount over the C price. That differential is rising exponentially on top of the C market price. Really simply, if I'm getting twice as much as I'm used to getting for the coffee that I produce, I'm going to have less incentive to do all of the extra work it takes to make that into a specialty product, unless um, I raise my prices even more for that. And we're starting to see that happening.
So you need to continue to incentivize the growers to continue when they're getting more for their coffee at a
With
baseline.
specialty.
Yeah, interesting. So let's talk about what is it, the hardest specialty, and that's quality. How does what happening impact quality either positively or negatively?
There can be an argument for the idea of trying to keep specialty relevant. A lot of people who went into producing a specialty coffee product did so because they were enticed by the quality premiums they could get for that product. And as you know, as I said, we've got now if unless that specialty premium continues to be relevant to me as a coffee producer, I might not have as much interest in producing specialty. On the other hand, if you have the ability to get more of these premiums coming in, it really impacts your ability to kind of shore yourself up against some of these climate drivers. And we know that there are a lot of resources in better plants or better pruning or you know more climate resistant varieties that can help sort of insulate against some of these impacts of climate change that we know that's not going to change.
Yeah, so it allows that investment in some of the things that will need to happen in order for the industry to continue to fight climate change.
Yeah.
Super interesting. Other challenges? So, just at a grower level, like positively and at an origin level. So, generational challenges. I know you've mentioned that before around just the challenges of bringing in a new generation of coffee producers.
Yeah,
So, to speak to that.
I think for a lot of coffee producers in a lot of countries, it doesn't seem like maybe a great path to get into when you are kind of deciding what you want to do as a young adult. If you've seen your parents struggle with fluctuating coffee prices and never really quite knowing what your income would be for the year, if you were going to be able to cover your cost of production, that doesn't really seem like a great opportunity. If we're starting to come into a world where coffee is more fairly valued, it then can start to seem more attractive for people to decide to continue growing coffee.
Yeah, and I know that's very different to when we launched No Death to Coffee back in 2019. We were in a very different space, weren't we?
That's right.
Yeah, super interesting. So, I guess the kind of sum of this is ultimately higher prices are good for specialty.
Yep.
Yep.
If we're able to just sort of take a look at the global value generated by the coffee industry, is really a more equitable sharing of that value back to producers to sort of be able to share a little bit in the value that's created through this product.
Great. So let's talk about at a cup level. So higher C market prices. What does that mean for cup quality and cup prices around Australia?
Yeah, I think that we're definitely going to see higher cut prices in Australia. Even, not just specialty and not just higher quality, but from fast food coffee all the way up to, at your handmade coffee at your locally owned cafe. Everybody is going to be impacted by these. I think in quality, what we may start to see is a little bit more of a separation in those levels that commodity coffee might just start tasting a lot more like commodity coffee as people do whatever they can to get that price a little bit lower, that kind of race to the bottom idea. And for people who are in specialty for real, who really want to make sure that they're buying the very best product and rewarding producers fairly and equitably for that product, I think we might start to see better tasting coffees. If you've got specialty producers that now have more resources to invest in the quality of their farms, in their processing, maybe get some new equipment, I think we might start to see um, specialty kind of come back in a way that it's sort of been struggling at when that differentiation between commercial and specialty has started to blur a little bit.
If we can get to higher cup prices on average around the country, we'll start to see quality improvements across specialty, or at least support that.
I think so.
Let's talk about the future. Grabbing a crystal ball.
Yeah,
What do you think the future of coffee looks like?
it's a great question. I think the belief in the coffee industry and in specialty hasn't changed. It's really believing that people will continue to pay more for something that's delicious and that they know sort of ticks the boxes of, good business and rewarding people for the extra work that they do. I think that we will probably not see prices dip back to levels that they were before. I think these higher levels kind of make sense for everyone. It's sort of catching us up to an artificially deflated and undervalued commodity. Really, I hate to say it like that, but that's what it is. And I think that people won't get tired of drinking coffee. Like it's just such a special, unique product, delicious product that I think that these prices will only serve to sustain it and buoy it up a little bit and kind of make it a more equitable proposition for more actors in the supply chain.
Amazing. Thanks for your time, Lens. Should we go cup some coffee?
Let's do it.